Halloween month is here. We'll get into the show here in a couple of minutes. We are going to be talking to the North Alton Godfrey Business Council right now. And we're also going to be talking to the Village of East Alton Porch Cafe joins us to talk about the Bud Summers Music Festival. But Mike Kelly is in now. Good morning, man. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday to you, CJ. Good to be here. Thanks.
Well, is this the first time you've been in the studio?
This is the very first time I've actually been in the basement here. I walk down and see this big, huge round door to the vault here. And
I've always told people, if that Armageddon happens, there's only one place you're going to find.
There you go. I was stocked up with food and water ready to go, huh?
Well, yeah, now apparently toilet paper is going to be the next commodity.
That's right. We learned that, didn't we?
Well, Mike, for the longest time, I always tell the story at the CEO presentations when they ask me to go talk to the group. You were by far the most fascinating tour that first year we had CEO. Everything I learned from the Cracker Factory and the work that was done in the history of that building, that's what really, seriously, not patronizing you because you're bigger than me, it's what really made me kind of get drawn into looking a little bit more behind the building of our community and really loving where you live, man. It's cool.
Well, I appreciate that. I've enjoyed participating in the CEO program, leading the kids around, and it's nice to hear some positive feedback because you always kind of wonder what the kids are thinking. You know, a lot of times, sometimes you get good questions, sometimes you just get kind of blank stares. It's always an early in the morning sort of tour when they come around. So, it's a neat thing, and I always enjoy showing it off. And if you can inspire some kids to have an entrepreneurial mindset and do things like that around the community and be part of the community instead of just running off to college and going away, then I think that's a good thing.
Well, how'd you get started here in the area? Give me a little bit of your background if it's cool, because, for many times as we talked, I've never really learned your story.
Okay. I'm surprised that we've never talked about
this.
Yeah, so I grew up in Wood River here. Graduated high school, went off to the military, was back and forth a couple of times, but I ended up retiring from the Marine Corps out in San Diego in 2011.
Wow.
And I moved back here to the area in 2012. So I've been living here in the area ever since, and I already owned the Cracker Factory building there, so that was kind of job one when I moved back here, was to get that thing rebuilt and put into operation.
And now, how long did you own that building? You said you owned it prior to getting back in 2011. How long did you own that space for?
So I bought it in 1998.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was before the storm that kind of tore the top floor off of it and everything. So, but had not done any major renovations, just tried to get, had a couple businesses operating on the ground floor, nothing upstairs yet at that point.
Well, and now when you took the dive in, it's time to repair the Cracker Factory. Did you realize the overhaul that you were getting ready to do, or was it something that you developed through the process?
It was sort of an iterative process. So I wasn't living here at the time. I was actually stationed out in California in between two overseas deployments.
Wow.
So the planning for what it ended up being took place when I was in California and deployed overseas in Afghanistan, actually.
Wow.
I had a team I worked with back here closely. Barry Moyer and Schutte Design were the architects. Jun Construction was my general contractor, and Carol Powers was my interior designer for it. And great team. They did some great work for me, and I was obviously very integrally involved, making a lot of decisions, right, and writing the checks and.
The big decision.
You see what it came out nicely. I think everybody's proud. It was a tough decision. It almost got to a point where, do we tear it down or do we rebuild it? And that was honestly the hardest decision, was getting started, deciding to move forward with it.
What were some of those conversations that you were having? Because we hear that so many times, and it's not just an Alton specific thing. You hear it in small towns and just places around the country that have these beautiful buildings that have historic value, but that conversation does come up. Where is it more cost effective to tear it down and rebuild new, or is it better to fix it as it is? And what were some of those conversations you were having with yourself and others making that decision?
Yeah, you're right. It is a tough decision, and I think I've always been of a mindset, I think, to appreciate the past and the design and the architecture.
Yep.
And in some places, and another aspect is some places you might be able to tear down, rebuild, and do something bigger and better, greater, modern. In some areas, if a building gets torn down, it's probably not going to get rebuilt any time in my lifetime anyway.
Right.
Just because the economics of the area and what's going on at the time. You know, Alton was not going through a hugely prosperous time. It was happening on the in the early years of the major economic downturn from the real estate fall of 2008 and afterwards. So it was, it was a tough decision. Not many people were investing in downtown Alton, especially up in the Broadway corridor at the time. There were a few others up there, but we had some neighbors doing things, but.
Well, and see, that's what I find, really not just fascinating, but overall just really cool about this. I mean, because in 2000, especially in that time period when you're actively investing in you turn on every major news station, they're telling you do not do anything, don't. What was it? Just kind of the timing that you just knew, hey, we're going to get through this, we're going to do it, or was it just kind of, well, we're here now and we got to keep running?
So a lot of, I guess, my outlook on that and my problem solving, analyzing the issues were kind of hard at first. One of the things I did when I retired from the Marine Corps in 2011, I went through an accelerated 1 year's master program in real estate.
Oh, wow.
At University of San Diego before I moved back here. And that helped me kind of figure things out, how to kind of formalize my thought process and planning for that project, and able to put some numbers and logic to it rather than just shooting from the hip. So I was able to gain some confidence, not a huge high level of confidence that it was gonna, it's not like not a slam dunk deal, but at least enough to where I understood what the risk factors were, able to analyze those and put the things into perspective.
Well, and one thing I wanted to talk about, just hearing you too, and I was just making notes, just hearing some of the conversation, Mike, is the fact that, I mean, you're talking about, you're in the Marines and you own this building. You're talking about the team that you have and the folks that are here. But how did you manage, the evolution of not only you as a person post-military, but also you have this building, you have a team of people while you're still in active duty. I mean, how did you kind of manage all of that with the stress of being an active duty military? Because there is no greater stress, I would imagine.
It was kind of hard. So, compartmentalization, I guess, you got to compartmentalize your issues. When you're doing one thing, you got to focus on that, learn to kind of set things aside and not think about it, all the time. And when it's time to think about it, you get on, shift your mindset, you focus, make the decisions you need to at the time. And, just to be clear, we didn't actually start work on that till I got back here in town.
Okay.
So the planning was done.
But just the planning process alone's got to be a mountain to look at.
The planning was a lot. It was my first time ever doing anything like this. So it was, and then, once you get going, there's a whole lot of decisions and a whole lot of changes. If you talk to, PJ or any of the folks involved in the project, there are a lot of changes. And part of that probably had to do with the fact that I was not here during the planning.
Right.
We weren't face to face. A lot of it was done via email, phone calls when we could. So, there were a lot of changes for the better.
Right.
I think, just to make sure that things came out as best they could, and I think they did.
So how long did it take for you to get the project completed at the Cracker Factory?
A lot longer than it should have. All things considered, I try to focus not on how long it took.
That's a good one.
We got to where we did, and just got money coming in the other direction.
Yeah.
I think it's been sitting too long without having the lower levels finished, but that's that's in the works, and you know, I don't have anything specific to share on that at this time, but there are things in the works for the lower level, and I think it'll be a good space.
Well, and for folks that don't know, if you haven't been up yet, where have you been? Because every great party I've had has been at the penthouse of the Cracker Factory, and you know the layout of it, but also you know whether or not it's folks that are using those spots for. I know that you said some extended stays and people that are traveling through too, but just to have that community gathering space is one of those coolest things, because Alton never really had that luxurious, kind of spot that had that all the look and the feel and the pomp and circumstance with being something we could all use in a public entity is normally just a private business. But this gives everyone that opportunity to have really the perfect atmosphere for their get-together reunion or just maybe a weekend getaway for themselves.
Well, thank you for allowing us to put in a cheap plug here for our business operation.
Absolutely. Well, I love it.
Well, no, and you're absolutely right. You know, God gave us the presentation of the beautiful view and the natural beauty of the river. And fortunately, we had the building in the right spot to be able to take advantage of that. So, back to the decision process, that was a major driver. I would not have been able to put that much money into that building anywhere else in town or anywhere that didn't have that view that brings that additional value proposition to it. And it is a great space, as you described, to be able to get families together. We get not only tourists coming, but we get people coming back to visit family for just family reunions, locals coming in for anniversaries, birthday parties. Unfortunately, people come back unannounced for any kind of family tragedies or whatever they're dealing with. Somebody's knocked out of their home for a while, doing major renovations, either from damage or just wanting to do upgrades. Somebody wants to come into the area, they're moving here, don't have their house yet, or don't have it ready yet to move in and need a place. So especially when people are looking to get family, a lot of wedding gatherings, it provides that opportunity and a huge value, not just the economic value if we offer pretty good pricing.
Right.
But the value of getting family together and being able to build those relationships and spend time together rather than staying in a hotel, meeting out for dinner at a restaurant here and there. You're actually living there in a home sort of setting and really able to enjoy a lot of quality time together.
100% over. Hey, what are some of the other properties that you own around town, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so really the ones I own in town are right in that block there.
Oh, really cool.
Yeah, so I've spent some time, and that's been part of the delay of putting money into the rest of the building there, is trying to assemble some of the other properties right around me there. So I've been able to do that. So that's going to help us be able to move forward and control our environment, so to speak.
Absolutely. And I also know, too, you're really active in just community organizations and other facets. I'm pretty, Zeke was telling me that you're a board member on one of the social service agencies, too, correct? Which one is that?
Riverbend Family Ministries.
Oh, they're great. Oh,
yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so you're familiar?
Yeah. Oh, they're wonderful.
Yeah, they're located down in Wood River, and they serve individuals and families throughout Madison County who are dealing with crises of different types, specifically related to trauma of a number of sorts. It's an umbrella nonprofit that houses 9 other programs and organizations within it. So they provide wraparound services to individuals and communities to help with various types of needs.
Well, and going into that too, just on top of that, with other community service organizations too, and just being active in the community, how important is that? For not only just your growth personally, but when you have business owners, and not just that, but leaders and folks that have a little bit of a network behind them to be a part of those groups. Why is it so important to do that civil service and be there for that neighbor?
Yeah, so that's a big part of actually why I ended up moving back here.
Really?
After I retired, yeah. Just to kind of come back and be part of the community and give back to the community that helped me and where I grew up, where I was raised. So it's hugely important to me, and it's very rewarding, I think. And there's a lot of a need, you can see a lot of opportunities around to help. So, you know, I'm the type of person that look around. If you can help someone, why not? If you can help solve a problem or seize upon an opportunity to help do things better in the community, why not be a part of that?
Yeah.
You know, so it's very rewarding. I'm also involved with the Joshua Chamberlain Society.
Absolutely. Wonderful
on
organization.
my T-shirt here. They support severely wounded vets. It's a St. Louis-based organization. They've opened chapters in Nashville and Houston, but it started here in St. Louis. I'm on a committee and fairly active with that organization as well. So they do great work.
Well, and going into the North Alton Godfrey Business Council, as this is our spotlight today, you know, whenever I talk to younger people or even any business owner, and they always ask me all the time, Mike, about groups and where should you go, and I always, my first initial message is always the business council, because of the environment that it's in, because it's not just business owners and developers and all these folks, it's, you know, everyday people too that are, you know, civic holders in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
What's your advice to somebody that maybe needs to find that, you know, kind of path forward with their business or what they're doing, and why that business council should be a good fit?
So there's a number of organizations and you know, networking or associations to get involved with. I like the Business Council for a lot of reasons you just said. It's a lot of positive-minded people who want to get together and want to do good things for the area. So there's some networking opportunities, sure, but I think more so it's kind of just getting together and talking to people and getting synergies of ideas of how to make the area better. And there are, you know, committees within the Business Council that do different things and different projects around. And another thing is too, that Zeke always brings in really good speakers.
Yeah, he does.
Every month there's a speaker, at least one, a lot of times two. The primary speaker is always somebody who's interesting and relevant. You know, it's not just trying to fill in time. Right. It's someone who is relevant to either the local area development, specific to people's businesses who own and operate businesses in the area, or just something that's socially impactful.
Well, and honestly, the news that I gather from those, I mean, heck, some of the bigger news stories have come from the meeting, like when Whelan was out giving that presentation and started talking about the future a little bit, and it makes us get more excited and want to work more actively in the community to get ready for those things and be a part of that growth too.
Yeah, and it's things that you don't hear about on the street all the time. So really digging into, like last week, we took a group of us who wanted to go, took a tour of Coke Plastics.
Oh, yeah.
And Imperial Manufacturing.
How was that?
It was great. It was great. You know, both companies doing well, longtime residents here, and expanding their operations in the area, and doing good things to contribute as well, supporting local initiatives.
Well, and honestly, that's why I think what the council does too is so important. We was with the CEO program we started the show off with, you know, having that entrepreneurial speaker series where, you know, kids can have this opportunity to really get their hands in and be a part of something and learn about all these opportunities that are around, because they're leaving Alton High and Marquette not realizing they can get great jobs at Imperial and Wheeland and Cope and all these wonderful spots and set themselves up for a lot of success down the road too, you know?
Sure.
And I think what I find so cool is to see all the business owners on the golf cart. Have you driven by the North Alton waterings, the volunteers lately?
Oh,
for the council?
The watering thing up there, yeah.
There are certain people that are just like experts on that golf cart, because there's an art to the watering golf cart, Mike, you know?
There is, you know? And their consistency and their dedication to doing it, you know?
Well,
really,
it's just
year after year.
It's the love where you live thing, and when you're actively volunteering and doing those type of things, it's truly a big. It makes the young people get excited and want to do even more too, or do something, you know.
Absolutely, and that's the key, is getting younger people involved. And a lot of our discussions lately have been talking about teaming up with Alton High School and
Yep.
getting kids kind of engaged and informed. We've got a speaker series with the high school where local business owners from the business council go in and talk to the kids during their morning I forget what they call it, the initial session they've got before they go to class.
Well, you're right. I forgot about that too, and it just it really connects that in a way that not a lot of communities have that. Really have that touch. And Mike, getting in back into developing in the Cracker Factory, did you know, was there a certain point, after all of the processes coming in and you're seeing, all of the materials coming in, where you knew that you were in a good spot, with the progress, with the process too? Was it when the penthouse is finishing up, or was there a moment you went, whew, I can breathe a little bit,
So we did start on the top and work down. We built from the bottom up. As far as the finishing, we started in the top and worked our way down. So the penthouse was the first one that was done, and I still remember who our first customer was who came to that. So my couple lives up in Chicago, and they're from here, and they own property here, and still but they're number one customer first day. But no, I don't know that there was a specific aha moment, this is it. But I think over time it kind of revealed itself that, this is going to be really cool. So I guess part of the understanding of the opportunity there, back when the building was original, before it was partially destroyed and renovated, I would climb up. They had a little ladder at a fire escape that would go up to the rooftop. I'd climb up and sit up there and just kind of look out and enjoy the view, and realizing, hey, this is kind of a neat spot in Alton and overlooking the river here.
One final question for you, especially because you have a different perspective for this, because everyone always talks about that 5-year plan and the process, and trust this. No one knows that more than somebody that develops real estate or is building property up, because, you have this vision and things happen, I'm sure, like supply chain issues or something didn't get shipped in right. What is any tips for just understanding the process and just realizing your blueprint, your formula, and just sticking to it? Because I feel like sometimes as entrepreneurs and business owners, maybe that plan, that process changes a little bit due to hurdles. But how do you understand that process and live with it?
So I guess it helps to have a plan.
Yeah.
You got to kind of know where you want to go and have a vision. And I think talk to people and figure out what it is you want to do, what the potential is. And sometimes you'll discover things that you maybe thought you knew, but you didn't, or sometimes you go into it just having no idea. So, I think talking to people that kind of know what they're doing, but try to have a vision, keep the faith, and not everybody's meant to be an entrepreneur in real estate or anything else.
Yeah.
So there's some risk factor. There's some discomfort going into it. If you want to be successful, you gotta lean into it, so to speak, and be willing to push past your comfort zone and be willing to change when the times and situations change and adapt to it. So,
well, Mike, thank you so much for stopping by. 25 minutes kind of flew on by, didn't it? I was really excited to have this conversation, and really excited to learn more about any upcoming plans. If you have anything new, please come on the show and share it, because I really do love the space. You kick butt with it, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, CJ.
If you want to join the council, NAGBC.com. That's NAGBC.com. Be a member, and the next upcoming meeting is going to be October the 8th at OSF Health Center, which is going to be another great presentation learning about what St. Anthony's is doing to evolve our healthcare. I love it, too, because you're learning that you don't have to drive and fight the war zone that's 270 to get proper healthcare. I mean, our hospitals are so equipped right now. Just learning the last couple of meetings, we're in good shape. 9:26, a little bit of change. We'll come back with the Village of East Alton right after this on RiverBender and Roku TV.